Breaking news, Chiefs Kingdom. My name is Jackson Durham, and you are watching the Chiefs Report by Jad Sports. And today, the Kansas City Chiefs have opted to do something that we kind of all knew was coming. Mike Danna has officially been released in a cap-saving move. We're going to break down the decision to let him walk today on the show, and then we're going to talk about what has to come next. There's still a lot more on the agenda for the Kansas City Chiefs. A guy that we've talked about. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging on it. It's Jawaan Taylor. When the hell is he getting cut? When is that move coming? That's what's coming on the back end of today's show. But we cover every time there's Chiefs breaking news, we make a video. Every single piece of Chiefs news, whether it's big, whether it's small, whether it's expected, whether it's unexpected, we have you covered on the channel. So if you're not already subscribed to the Chiefs Report by Chad Sports, now is a perfect time to do so, to change that, to hit that subscribe button, and to get yourself locked in on all the Kansas City Chiefs news and rumors you need throughout the 2026 offseason. But let's jump right into this thing. So Kansas City Chiefs actually announced this themselves. They beat all of the newsmakers to this, all of the news breakers, all of the aggregators. They all got beat by the Kansas City Chiefs official social media account on this one, which is highly unusual, as is the way that they released him. Two-time Super Bowl champ. Thanks for everything. At Mike Danna. And then just with a graphic. Pretty weird, to be completely honest with you. Had everybody in the comments, including myself, wondering, is he being released right now? Is this how we're doing this? Is this how this is being announced? And as it turns out, yes. Within minutes, it was confirmed by Adam Schefter and the rest of the newsbreakers. He has officially been released, and he retweeted the message that they had. So weird, definitely weird way to go about the process of letting him go. I do appreciate the acknowledgement of Danna's role in the 2 Super Bowls that he won with the team. Absolutely, he was a big player in those. But I think we all kind of knew that this was coming. Again, like I said off the top of today's show, this was not some out of the blue, majorly unexpected news. We had talked about Mike Danna's contract and it being kind of an albatross before this video. $11 million in total cap on this deal, of which 2.6 will now become dead, freeing up $8.9 million. Very smart decision. Very smart decision. And a decision they absolutely had to make. One of several decisions that I feel the Kansas City Chiefs absolutely have to make. And another great reason, if you haven't already, speaking of all of those decisions, to hit the subscribe button. Because if you didn't know that this was coming, if this is unexpected news in any way to you, then it would not have been if you had already been subscribed, if you were locked in on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports, because we literally broke this down. We talked about this being something that Kansas City was going to do in a video just a few days ago. Literally posted this one up just a few days ago, but we've been talking about the release of Danna for weeks, about him being somebody that Kansas City has to move on from, that they will move on from this offseason for a serious amount of time. Going back to our top cut candidates video, and then obviously we just after the Chiefs restructured Patrick Mahomes' deal, put out another one on more moves coming soon, and here is one of them that we had listed in that video, the release of Mike Danna. Now let's talk about what comes next. First up, who steps up in this defensive line room for the Kansas City Chiefs? And I think there's an obvious candidate. I really do. I think there's a name on the screen right now for all of you guys, and I think a lot of you are probably right there with me looking at this group of names. It's Ashton Gillotte. It's got to be Ashton Gillotte, in my opinion. At the end of the day, we saw some flashes from him in 2025. He was given opportunities to affect the game. Not a ton of snaps, not a huge workload for the Louisville rookie. But when he did get on the field, when he did have an opportunity, he consistently made an impact, especially as the year went on. I feel like he finished this thing strong. That says 3 pressures, but it really should say 24. He had 24 pressures. He had 5 sacks on the season, 16 QB hits, and 12 hurries. I think he's ready for a much larger role in 2026. Remember, that list stat graphic was wrong. I didn't even notice that until just now. He didn't have 3 pressures. He had 24 pressures. This is a guy who got after the quarterback at just under a 10% rate. That's generally considered highly effective among edge defenders, and he was able to do that as a rookie, a mid-round draft pick as a rookie. I 100% believe, and I think the Chiefs are showing with this move as well, that they believe in Gillotte's talent, that they believe that he's ready to step up. We'll see if they continue to add at that room in the draft. Whether or not they address it in the first round will be another telling sign about how much they really believe in Ashton. But I do think that he could be the guy to step up, to fill the gap here, and to be more productive, to help this pass rush take the step that it needs to. I'm not saying he does that alone, but I do think that he could fill the gap left by Mike Danna. Next up on today's show, in just a minute, we are going to talk about what comes next. The guy we talked about at the beginning of this video, he's got to be on the chopping block soon. When is it going to happen? How are the Chiefs going to get rid of him? Are they going to get rid of him? Is there a chance that they hold on to him? We're going to talk about it all in just a second. But before we do, I got to let you guys know about our Kansas City drinking team merch. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner. And my friends, if you do not want to get penched this year for not wearing your green, if you don't want to get razzed for not wearing your green, and you still want to be able to rep the Chiefs Kingdom, we have got the shirt for you, my friends. I think the design on this is absolutely fantastic. Shout out to Arnold, our designer. I think he knocked this one out of the park. I love the way the clover looks on the helmet, and I love the fact that I will be able to rep the Kansas City Chiefs and still keep my green on St. Patrick's Day. So you can get these at chatsports.com/KC Green. But I will say, the green one's Kelly green, technically. If you don't want to be construed as representing the Eagles, we do have it in black for you. Again, that's at chatsports.com/KC Green. You can get the green option or the black option. Whatever you do, though, definitely pick one up. Be ready for St. Patrick's Day this year. Be ready to support the Chiefs Kingdom and still not get razzed. One more time for you, that's chatsports.com/KC Green to pick up a Kansas City drinking team t-shirt and be prepared for St. Patrick's Day. But let's get into who's next. It's got to be Jawaan Taylor, guys. It absolutely has to be Jawaan Taylor. This is the list that I showed you when we talked about who comes next in the plan after the Patrick Mahomes restructure. And I feel like we just skipped a step because Danna was supposed to be on step 2. I feel like this should have come first. Maybe you guys could disagree with me in the comments, but logically, right? Like, wouldn't you want to get out of the negative before? Parker and I, my producer, we were talking about this before, and it's a strange move at the end of the day to stay in the negative with the release of Mike Danna. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have made it, but if I was them, I just feel like order of operations would have been, let's get rid of Jawaan Taylor, let's get into the green, and then let's go through all of the littler moves that we can do to push that boat out further into the green, into the positive cap space. But instead, we still sit in the negatives. Again, this didn't take us out of the negatives in terms of cap space. We're still almost $3 million under the cap. So, again, Jawaan's got to go at some point. Just because they didn't do it now doesn't mean they're not going to do it at all. That did briefly flash in my mind. Is this a setup for them to somehow try to keep him? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think the $20 million in cap savings that they can get if they let him go is something that they're going to be able to ignore, or the fact that they just don't need this guy anymore. At the end of the day, this room is ready to roll without Jawaan Taylor. I have said it before. I will say it again. We don't need him from a cap perspective, and you don't need him from an on-the-field perspective. Jalen Moore, Wanye Morris, Esapale, you have a number of names that could step in and play right tackle for you that I feel confident in. At the end of the day, there is no need to hold on to a contract with Jawaan Taylor that is this bad. That's as simple as that. It should be that simple. He's on the books for $27 million this year if you hold on to him with $20 million of that being possible savings if you just cut him. What are you waiting for? At the end of the day, what are you waiting for? That's my question to Brett Veach, to the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope that I sign off of this video, which we're about to do, and I look at my phone and it dings and says the Kansas City Chiefs have released Jawaan Taylor, because there is zero reason that it shouldn't happen that soon.